Cat weaving is alive and thriving in the War Within beta right now, and if things remain the same, this could be very powerful and pump out a lot of healer damage. So in today's video, we're going to be playing Resto Druid with the Wildstalker hero talent tree, which plays around applying an additional dot or an additional hot spawned by your other hots and dots, and this dot can do a ton of damage and set up your other spells to do big damage. This hero talent tree also adds more damage to your Sunfire, which is a huge AoE source of damage, and also your Rip and Ferocious Bite, which are big single target sources of damage. Also, your hots are going to do more healing, and something really sick is Bursting Growth. If we Ferocious Bite someone that has this hot on them or this dot on them, they're going to explode for AoE damage, and we can just cycle Shred and Ferocious Bite, Shred, Ferocious Bite. It does big damage. On top of that, we're going to get free healing from these symbiotic growths, and all of this is kind of what Adaptive Swarm used to be to a larger extent. And the best part about it is it's all passive, so we're no longer going to waste a global cooldown applying Adaptive Swarm. Instead, we're just going to get free Thriving Growth procs. Also, some big quality of life changes that come with the War Within Druid is fluid form. You no longer have to swap into cat form and then rake. Instead, you can just press rake while in Druid form and it'll rake and swap you to cat form all at once. On top of all of that, Call of the Elder Druid kind of replaces Heart of the Wild. So Heart of the Wild is now passive. Once you swap into cat stance once every minute, you're just gonna get Heart of the Wild for the next 10 seconds. So a lot of quality of life and a lot of fluidity added to the already disgusting Cat Weaver. Let's see how much damage we can do and keep everyone alive in the process. Oh my goodness, I just sat in queue for over an hour, but now we finally get to showcase this. Hopefully things don't die too quickly. I do think that is my biggest fear for this video, is that we don't truly get to showcase this play style. But our number one goal is just to keep everyone alive, just as a healer should be. We're going to try to weave in as much damage as we can, but we're not going to, like, you know, risk people just dying because we want to do damage. See, like right now everyone's full health, but I see people are ticking, so I'm gonna swap and do some healing. And we're just going to see how much natural damage this free hot can rack up. I think in a real testing environment... Uh-oh. I just butt pulled. In a real testing environment like True Mythic Plus, in-game, everything stays alive for so long. I think there will be a lot more optimization playing around the Ferocious Bite explosions, trying to get good damage from that. But for now, in this environment, I think we're just going to see how much damage... Or we're just going to have to see how much damage we can get by just by not playing around that. I don't think that will be super optimal since, like I said, things are going to die so quickly. But after we apply all these hots, we're going to at least Sunfire a few times, just make sure everything has it. We're going to try and spread these rakes around while our treants do most of the healing. And as you can see, like, I mean, look, I'm not even playing that well around all the free dots and stuff, but our damage is kind of crazy for a healer, which is very nice. I would hope it is, because that's kind of the draw to this hero talent tree. I think the other one is going to be excellent. It has a lot of good healing, a lot of good healing synergies and capabilities and stuff. Uh-oh, don't fall off. Ooh. So close. Okay, but this one, I think the big draw to it is its damage capabilities and how you can cat weave more for it. But yeah, I will be testing out all the hero talent trees of all the healers, and maybe even dabbling in some of my other favorite non-healing hero talent trees, like something like Affliction Warlock or you know, something stupid like that. But only if you guys would want me to. I would love to do that for you guys, but I don't want to just like waste your time. I don't want to make a video that you guys don't want to see, you know. Now, let's just spread some rakes around. We're not going to go like crazy with it. We're going to sit on all of those combo points while we heal up and wait for this dot to apply to someone. Okay, this thing has the dot on it. So let's Ferocious Bite it, try to get some AoE damage from that. All right, our damage, like I said, dude, the damage is actually surprising. Yes, we do have like 1 DPS that's practically AFK on the damage meters with every pool. But still, the fact that we're able to kind of compete and put up these numbers is pretty good. It's a pretty good showing of damage, I think. Man, this dungeon is so weird. What do you guys think of the dungeon pool for the War Within? I think it's definitely one of the weirder ones. I think like the spider dungeon, not this spider dungeon, but the other one. Yeah, there's 2 spider dungeons. I think it has too much like waiting. Same with like the mine dungeon. So I hope that like that kind of gets fixed, just for, if we're gonna be stuck in these dungeons for like so long, like many months, I would hope they're very exciting and engaging. But they do have their moments. Okay, so coming up on a tick. Let's just crank some damage, get that rip going. Hopefully we'll get that that debuff applied soon. Let's summon a guardian. Man, I'm excited to see the overall damage at the end of this dungeon. So far, it looks like, yeah, it looks like 2 of our DPS are just really struggling. Really struggling. I guess comparing our damage to the Blood Death Knight, it doesn't look too hot. Let's see if we can change that. Get Rip going. Let's just Efflorescence so that our Hot can have a chance to proc. Let's swap into Tree Stance for a bit so we can spawn more of the Treants and just stay in this form for a bit longer. On single target, we're going to try to just shred Ferocious Bite, shred Ferocious Bite. That way we can get that explosion damage. I think the main draw to that damage is going to be its AoE capability. But it seems like it's still pretty good in single target. Let's swap from overall damage to current segment. And there you can see, I mean, we're doing over 200,000 DPS, which is pretty good. You go back and watch some of my other videos. It's pretty average, I'll say, when you compare it to things like Lightsmith Paladin, but pretty good compared to some of the other healers. All right, let's try to dot up everything before this Death Knight kills everything. One thing I haven't even talked about is how our damaging spells are going to be healing people for the first 10 seconds of swapping into cat form, thanks to Heart of the Wild. Heart of the Wild now, I don't know if it's exactly Heart of the Wild that's the talent that makes it heal, but it's tied to Heart of the Wild. So whenever we swap into cat form, once every minute, the first 10 seconds, our shreds and our swipes are going to heal our allies nearby. We can see it on the healing charts. It's, what's it called? Dream of Cenarius. And that pool, it didn't really do that much because we procced it late. But on some pools, when you come into the pool and get that first 10 seconds of burst damage with all of your energy and combo points, the damage really does add up. And I'm sorry, the healing does add up. All right, let's get some swipes off. You see here, we're still not in Heart of the Wild. We need to wait 20 more seconds. But once we do that, I'll try to keep track of it and show you guys just how much healing it can do. Ooh, the stun. Uh-oh. I'm gonna Swiftman, Nature Swiftness. Move out of that. I'm gonna Treant. Okay, everyone's pretty healthy. We can swap in and do some damage. I'm not seeing the dot proc a lot, but once again, we're coming into these pools doing damage a bit late into the pools. If we got ahead of that and like got the dots applied quickly, like let's just Sunfire and then we'll go ahead and start raking things up. Then we'll start to see more of it. But we still, once again, we have to make sure everyone stays alive or we are failing as a healer, which is always the trouble with cat weaving. It's why it's actually very difficult to do effectively, I should say. You see there on that pool, we did apply rakes very early on, and still the bursting growth, I'm sorry, the Bloodseeker Vines damage was very low. I think it only procced on one of those enemies. However, we got one big bursting growth off, and it made up for all that. Once again, let's rake things up. All right, now that things are raked up, okay, we see that we got it to proc on this big guy. Let's get a swipe. Ferocious Bite, swipe, Ferocious Bite, swipe, Ferocious Bite. Okay, that damage is crazy. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Like, when you actually get a chance, get a pool where no one's really taking that much damage to play around bursting growth, the damage can absolutely add up to big numbers. I want to take a second to thank you guys for showing so much support to this series where we test all the healers in the War Within beta. I do want to make a quick disclaimer. Things are subject to change. It is a beta. But guys, while I have you here, go ahead and hit the like button if you like this series and let me know what healer you guys want to see next, and I will make sure and deliver. And also double check that you're subscribed, because YouTube just unsubscribed me from one of the people that I watch literally daily. So just make sure that it didn't do the same to you. All right, let's get back into the action. Let's see if we can do it once again. So we're gonna kick that. Let's just apply a couple rakes so that we have a chance of that debuff applying. Let's apply Sunfire so we can compare the damage. Okay, this, if we can catch it. Which enemy has it? This one? Ferocious Bite. It is kind of hard without my normal plater setup to like to tab between each person or to click the right health bar. So it is hard to catch which one is getting the debuff on the PTR. But I'd imagine if all the add-ons were able to be installed on the beta and the correct version, it would be a lot easier. But there you see Sunfire still cranking, which is good. That is coming from this hero talent tree. Sunfire doing 10% more damage is a lot, because it adds up to most of your AoE damage in some dungeons. All right, let's show off this single target damage, but also I'm going to wait to swap into cat form. I'm going to be watching my Heart of the Wild timer. Go and Flourish just so we can dot up and have plenty of time. Let's rake, build up those combo points, get a good rip on. And then we're going to sit in Druid form, just applying hots and stuff, stalling for that Heart of the Wild. All right, now that we have Heart of the Wild ready, we're going to rip again and see our shred. You see that shred absolutely crank a heal into one person. I didn't see who it went on, but it was a big chunk of their health. All right, let's reapply our Druid dots. Oh, I just turned off my sound. I was trying to summon a tree and turned off my sound anyways. Okay, let's see that damage from that segment. Okay, Bloodseeker Vines, the dot actually like added up to a lot of damage. We got, how many Ferocious Bites did that much? How many casts did I have? 4 casts, about 200,000 each. I don't know. I'm afraid, I am afraid that like Resto Druid's Ferocious Bite damage is gonna have the same effect that like Holy Paladin's Spenders have, where you're spending way more time and getting way more value out of just applying the dots and building up those combo points than spending them. But I do think that this playstyle, waiting on the dot to proc on certain pools, allows you to sit at 5 stacks or 5 combo points for a little bit longer, letting you get more value out of the fact that your Ferocious Bite will consume energy if you have more than 50%. So you can, like, I can sit here, I'll like AFK to kind of show you guys. I'll apply rip to some things, but I'll sit here at 5 combo points until we get that to proc on one of these enemies. And that way we get to spend all those combo points. The Ferocious Bite hits harder because we have 50% energy, or 50 energy, I should say. Let's swap to Bear Stance, get out of that. But so far, I mean, I'll be totally honest. I'll be like 100% honest at the risk of making someone upset. It feels pretty clunky. It feels pretty clunky. I feel like there's too many things to do. Like, it doesn't all play together. So what I mean by that is, like, right now we're waiting on this debuff to proc to press our Ferocious Bite just to get more damage out. And like in AoE packs, it's like, should I rip the priority target, or should I Ferocious Bite the one little guy that has the debuff on them to make them explode a bit? So that's kind of what I mean by when I say it doesn't really play together all too well. Like perfectly well. Like in this situation, I'm just waiting. Like I can sit here and just get some melee attacks off, and then once one of these guys gets that debuff, then I can cash in my combo points. But for the most part, I'm kind of just sitting there waiting on energy to come back. Ooh, maybe I should have been healing. Oh my goodness. Alright, we're coming up on the final boss. I'll be honest, this dungeon has really shocked me. I'm actually having a lot of fun. Okay, we have Heart of the Wild not ready. Dang. Let's go and Flourish. Apply our dots. Ooh. Keep accidentally turning off the volume. Just make sure everyone's safe. Well, once again, that's our priority #1. Then we can come in and do some big damage. Reapply our dots. Reapply our hots. Typical Resto Druid gameplay here. Oh no, we're rooted. No, no, no. Okay, we made it. I don't know how. I literally can't tell you what was going on there, but... Alright, let's reapply our dots. Once again. Ooh. Just got clobbered by that. I don't know if there was something I could have done. Maybe I'll have to watch that back. I honestly don't know what their situation was. Maybe they were like low and I just wasn't paying attention. But they did kind of get slammed, it looked like. Alright, let's reapply these hots. Ooh, good B-res is coming out. Alright, let's look at this overall. Once again, yeah, I can tell on the overall damage done that, well, I guess we have to make one go to overall. I can tell it wasn't as insane as Lightsmith Holy Paladin, but it was, honestly, it was better than I thought it would be. I could tell on times where I would get good RNG, like get good procs, and at right times when I had full combo points and had full energy so I could actually use those combo points to cycle Ferocious Bites, I could tell the damage was really good. But for the most part, since these pulls were very quick, it was hard to kind of gauge the value here. But let's look at our overall damage. You see this one guy did so much damage. Zlimmy. Shout out to Zimmy. I'm actually covering it a bit. But let's look at our damage. I think that's what matters the most. So Rake did most of our damage. Same with Sunfire. Both of these added up to a ton. I was spreading Rake around. I don't have Thrash Talented, so I was using this to kind of build combo points and start pulls off. Maybe, let's see, how many casts of Moonfire did I have? 38, but how many casts of Rake? It doesn't tell me how many casts, but I'm sure I had a lot more casts of Rake there than I did of Moonfire. So maybe we should be casting Moonfire even more. But like I said, there's just, it feels very busy. Like there's so much to do. And like there's always a decision node that you could have played differently. But I think that is part of the draw to Resto Druid. There's so many options because of all your shapeshifting that it just feels like you're never perfect at the class and there's always room for improvement. So I do want to give this a lot more time and testing and practice. But spoiler alert for anyone that's made it this far in the video, that will come. When the War Within comes out, I do plan on making my All Healers to 3K series again, and there will be a lot of playing all of my alts all at the same time. We're going to get every single healer to 3K, and I'm going to start as soon as the War Within comes out. So if you're still here, show me some hype in the comments because it is a very taxing series, I'll admit. But okay, let's go and look at the healing overall. Wild Growth, I do think that was like bad on my part. Oh, but it does count the Treants. Okay, I was going to say, you do want your Treants to be most of your healing. This is a very weird, man, I was playing horribly. If Ysera's Gift is #2 on my overall healing, I was not healing at all. This Blood Death Knight was soaking up all the damage. But our Treants still cranking. We are playing to have them crank. Dream of Cenarius, I feel like playing around this more in like boss fights will be really good in Mythic Plus. Just getting bonus value from your damage spells and not having to swap out of cat form as often. But having it tied to a 1-minute set timer does make it hard to get good value from. Same with Symbiotic Blooms. I think once I get my normal UI back, once we can actually play this on retail, or they update all the add-ons, I do think I'll catch this more often. But it was very hard for me to play around. But I do think Symbiotic Blooms will get a lot more value in Raid when you are spamming rejuves constantly and you're able to kind of like hunt down these buffs and spam rejuves on people to get good value from the flowers. Where were the flowers? You see their bursting growth, very low on the healing in a 5-man environment. Outside of that, I don't think there's much more to talk about. I don't think I played very optimally. So I know someone's already commenting about that, but guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I love testing all of these healers and stepping outside of my comfort zone, and I've actually found out that a lot of these healers I'm really enjoying and very excited to play. So let me know what you guys want to see next. Also, huge shout out to not just you for making it this far in the video, but to the patrons of this channel. Guys, you are absolutely carrying this channel, and I would not be able to make content if it weren't for you. So check out that Patreon link down in the description if you want to find out how to sub today. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care.